Let's bring in NBC's Monica Alba at the White House with new reaction to this tragic shooting. As we know, we were just getting from Steve, the president has made a statement. What are we hearing from him, Monica?
Yeah, a detailed and lengthy statement, Alex, as we have so often seen from this president and the White House after this string of mass shootings in this country. Some familiar phrases, of course, saying he and the First Lady are thinking of all of those affected by this tragedy. But the president also going into some of the political implications here, specifically when it comes to gun safety. And even though the motive is not yet clear in this attack, the president wrote in this statement, he wanted to say that they know the LGBTQI community has been subjected to horrific hate violence in recent years. Gun violence continues to have a devastating and particular impact on LGBTQI plus communities across our nation, and threats of violence are increasing. The president also said yet another community in America has been torn apart by gun violence, more families left with an empty chair at the table and a hole in their lives that simply cannot be filled. When will we decide we've had enough? And the president also said in this statement, Alex, that he did sign into law a gun safety legislation and action that was historic, one of the most significant in the last couple of decades, but that more needs to be done. The president calling again for a ban on assault weapons, something he has said he would like to try to do in the remainder of this first term before deciding if he's going to seek re-election. Of course, that's going to be difficult in a gridlocked Congress here in Washington, D.C., but the president has spoken about this issue many times. He has reiterated that more action needs to be done and that he will continue to be briefed on this developing situation and have likely more statements to come. But I wouldn't be surprised if we hear from him in the coming days and weeks about how he plans to try to take action on this. One of the areas where there has been some bipartisan momentum in the past, but we'll see if there can be more. Of course, it was President Biden back when he was in the Senate who did work to on this issue specifically and would like to do more. We're told, again, is that an area of common ground here, one the White House wants to seek.
Breaking news from Colorado, a deadly mass shooting overnight at a nightclub in Colorado Springs.
A massive emergency response at the scene as the victims were rushed to area hospitals with gunshot wounds. The LGBTQ club where this happened, ClubQ, calling this shooting a hate attack.
And there's word a suspect was apprehended at the scene. We get more now from Dan Beatty from our ABC affiliate KRDO in Colorado Springs. Good morning, Dan.
Eva, I'm standing about half a block away from ClubQ, where there was a late Saturday night shooting that ended with 5 dead and at least 18 injured at this point in time. Colorado Springs police say those numbers are subject to change. Here's what we know so far. The suspect was captured by Colorado Springs police inside of ClubQ when Colorado Springs police arrived on scene. We were told by Colorado Springs Fire that they actually had to double up in some of the ambulances with victims, taking them to multiple area hospitals. We did just receive about an hour ago a statement from the owners of ClubQ. In the statement, it reads, quote, "ClubQ is devastated by the senseless attack on our community. Our prayers and thoughts are with all the victims and their families and friends. We thank the quick reactions of heroic customers that subdued the gunman and ended this hate attack." Eva?
And that's Dan Beatty for us there. Thank you. And this mass shooting, just the latest incident of gun violence in the nation. Let's get more from ABC's Aaron Katersky. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you, Eva. The shooting at ClubQ in Colorado Springs instantly brought back memories of the Pulse nightclub mass shooting in Orlando back in 2016 that targeted the LGBTQ community. The club said it's an attack on our community, but so far police are not ready to say anything about a motive. They haven't said anything about the weapons used, who the suspect even is. But the shooting does come at a time of pervasive gun violence in America. Since the mass shooting at the Pulse nightclub in 2016, the number of mass shootings in the country has nearly doubled in recent years. And hate crimes are also at an increase. 20% of hate crimes in 2020 target somebody because of sexual orientation. The number of hate crimes because of sexual orientation is also up. The FBI is now on scene to try to get to the bottom of what happened, guys.
Alarming trends. Still a lot to learn with this shooting. We'll stay on top of it throughout the morning. Aaron, thank you.
I do want to ask you, Jill, Trump says he won't participate in the special counsel investigation. Does he have a choice?
No, he does not. If he gets subpoenaed, they have the power to immediately go forward and hold him in contempt. They can do it. They can make him. He can, of course, claim the Fifth Amendment, which in this case might not be a bad idea. It might be bad politically, but legally, if I was his lawyer, given the evidence that's publicly available, it might be a good idea. But he cannot thumb his nose at them. And even for Congress, he didn't really just ignore them. He filed a lawsuit to delay. And it's a shame that he may get away with that and that Congress may expire at the end of the year without having heard from him as was planned and as is their right. But he can't do that with the Department of Justice that has at least 2 more years to go ahead.
Isaac, for everyone who is looking at your shot and wondering where you were hanging out on a Saturday night, you were coming to us from Las Vegas covering the Republican Jewish Coalition Convention. How is this news being received there? And are there signs of other Republican leaders distancing themselves from Trump?
Yeah, there absolutely are. This meeting is kind of the unofficial kickoff of the 2024 primary. And there are a lot of other potential rivals to Trump who are here and starting to stake out their case. And it's a case that, until a few weeks ago really looked like a long shot. What would be the path for anyone to run against Trump? But that really changed on November 8th. And you've now got a lot of Republicans who still like Trump, still don't have a bad thing to say about many of the accomplishments of his administration, but are looking at the disappointing results for them on November 8th and wondering if that's still what they want moving forward or if they're looking to new leadership and a different direction. This is a familiar pattern for Trump in terms of, like he said, he's the victim, and this is just the latest in a long line of witch hunts. So there actually isn't a lot of discussion here about the special counsel. It's just kind of baked in for what you get with Trump. But that's exactly the point, if people are interested in looking past that now.
This morning, we're continuing to follow breaking news out of Colorado. In a press conference in the last hour, local officials say at least 5 people are dead and 18 injured after a gunman opened fire at an LGBTQ nightclub in the city of Colorado Springs. The shooting took place just before midnight at a venue named ClubQ. Just 2 minutes into the shooting spree, 2 brave patrons, quote, blocked the shooter, allowing for him to be apprehended. Police say he is now being treated at a local hospital. The FBI is on the scene working in conjunction with local authorities as they are still investigating a motive. Joining me now is NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda, who's been closely following this story.
Hey there, Jonathan. We're learning new details about the timeline and the suspects behind this deadly, awful shooting. Within 2 minutes of officers arriving at ClubQ, were told that they were able to take the suspect into custody. Such a swift response, in large part because of efforts, according to police, from some of the customers inside the club. We're told that a 22-year-old man, the suspect, entered ClubQ and immediately started shooting as he made his way through the club. At least 2 patrons confronted and fought with the suspect, preventing him from causing even more harm in Colorado Springs. ClubQ overnight releasing a statement on Facebook saying, in part, it's devastated by the senseless attack on our community, continuing to call it a, quote, hate attack. Now, police have not confirmed a motive in this incident, but they did say they're looking into whether this was a hate crime. The timing of this all really strikes a nerve when you consider today's date, November 20th, the Transgender Day of Remembrance. ClubQ actually was scheduled to hold a special event regarding Transgender Day of Remembrance today, and they posted about it on Facebook just hours before this shooting played out. Colorado's Governor Polis speaking out in a statement. Keep in mind, he is the U.S.'s first openly gay governor. He said in part, this is horrific, sickening, and devastating, going on to say Colorado stands with our LGBTQ community and everyone impacted by this tragedy as we mourn together. Jonathan, I'll tell you, there's no ongoing threat, according to authorities, to their best level of awareness. 5 people killed, another 18 people injured. But keep in mind, police acknowledge that number could continue to rise, especially when you consider some of the victims drove themselves to the hospital. So still very much a developing situation. We'll continue to bring you the latest.
NBC's Emily Ikeda, thank you very much.